Hello everyone and welcome back to another market review. This is Silent. Today we are looking at the NASDAQ December contract for 2025. We are starting off with the weekly chart. So far on the opening we've rallied immediately and got a closure inside of the opening price of the previous up close weekly candle. I'm keeping a bullish expectation going to the week. We've dropped down into this down close candle and respected the constant encroachment of that down close candle's wick by closing above it and gapping higher here. So this drop down into this range is a bullish sign for me based on the reaction from the level here. So with such a strong gap up, I'll keep my expectation for a draw up into the previous weekly candle's opening price. Alright, dropping down to the daily chart, you can see how price had sold down into that previous weekly candle low and took out all the sell side liquidity on the Friday. We rallied up and closed as a doji with a long wick to the downside there, and then today's candle we open up and then immediately rally, and it closes at the high with some strength there inside of this down close candle's opening price here. So going into this daily candle, which is the Tuesday candle, I took this screenshot shortly after 6 o'clock. I'm keeping an expectation for bullishness, but with tomorrow being a bank holiday, I'll be keeping the expectation that this day could be an inside day, and we'll utilize the down close produced off of this candle potentially as a springboard for Wednesday and get a rally into that daily sell side imbalance here. I'm expecting that we could stay inside of the Monday's range as well because of this gap here. We could spend a little bit more time bouncing this range and then reclaiming it as a bullish array. So if that's the case, we're going to want to put a down close candle here to signal that this is in fact bullish and being reclaimed after a rally above the highs here. On the 4-hour chart, I left you with a couple of levels to watch through the weekly open. I wanted you to watch this sell side imbalance here, and I wanted you to watch this mitigation block as well. We didn't do much of retesting inside of either of these ranges. Price gapped up and then dropped down into the low of that mitigation block and then rallied above and started a inversion idea inside of these sell side imbalances here. If you extend the mitigation block from the closing price to the opening price, you can see that price did wick down into this range on this drop, and then it rallied back above, signaling that this is a balanced range, and then a continued rally into the end of the day there in New York. On the 1 hour time frame, I'm framing the island reversal idea here from this 1 hour sell side imbalance. We dropped down, rallied above it, and then after we open, it utilizes the high as an immediate rebalance and then displaces away from that range. So this is all hallmarks of a higher time frame balanced price range or island reversal idea. We rally through and then gap up over the weekend above these highs, and it starts working its way inside of that 1 hour sell side imbalance after delivering into the constant encroachment of the new week opening gap. And then as we cross through midnight, we start respecting the 1 hour sell side imbalance upper portion from the midpoint to the high as a discount array. A lot of consolidation going into the New York session with a rally. Price closes above the midpoint of that new week opening gap, and we retrace down into the sell side that was built up overnight before getting a lower time frame reversal in this area and respecting the low of that new week opening gap and the upper portion of that SIBI again, and then it just works its way up through the high of that new week opening gap. So going into tomorrow, we could easily start to retrace again, put in that down close candle potentially. So going into tomorrow, we did build up a lot of liquidity here, so there's nothing wrong with dropping down into this imbalance and then potentially purging all of these lows and leaving the candle for tomorrow as a down close, and then Wednesday could rally us up into that daily fair value gap and all of this buy side liquidity here. On the 15-minute time frame, all I want to talk about is the Asia range boxes here. Today's Asia range opened and respected the Friday Asia range, so we had an overlapping effect of the previous days, but it rallied through the Thursday PM session high. So placing the current day Asia range on top of the previous day is a bullish signal to me. So we see the effect of that after the midnight crossover. We stay strong at the upper portion of the Asia range, and just consolidate. It goes into London with an expansion higher that crosses us through the low, that new week opening gap. And a lot of consolidation in the pre-market before rallying up on the open of New York, then sinking it down on everyone that was trying to catch longs, but trailers stopped too tight. It takes out all the liquidity from the overnight before pressing higher and eats its way through that higher time frame level. We're not breaking out with fair value gaps here, so this is my signal that potentially, tomorrow could have that pullback and take out that liquidity here. On the 5-minute time frame, all I'm doing is bringing in the day's profile. We can see how price respected the upper portion of the Asia range all throughout the opening of London, and then after the 3 o'clock crossover, we rally into that higher time frame level. That brings us a consolidation and a buildup of sell-side liquidity. They accumulated longs all throughout the pre-market, and price is sent up to trip traders into buying the breakout here, and it sinks it down on everybody who was capturing these longs and brought their stops too tight. We have a short-term reversal under these lows here, with the fair value gap breaking up through, shifting the market structure to the upside. This is a buying opportunity inside this fair value gap and the low of that new week opening gap, and price continues with strength and pushes on higher. It reclaims the current day high as a buying opportunity as well, and it slowly pushes its way up to the high of that new week opening gap for the close of the day. On the 1 minute time frame, all I'm doing is bringing in the first presentation fair value gaps. We left today's first presentation open, and price continues to rally up, pressing higher. This is when the higher time frame is tripping in everyone to buy a breakout and expect a initial bullish open on the day. After we cross through the first hour of the day, that's when we get our shift lower. That's signaling to us that our first presentation could be a draw on liquidity, especially if we are targeting those overnight lows from the buildup of the sell-side liquidity. We utilize the Tuesday PM session first presentation as a selling opportunity here. That brings us down into the first presentation fair value gap. We have another selling opportunity inside that level here before selling off into the higher time frame liquidity. A lot of buildup of buying in this range before price is released to the upside with a retracement. We cut through the first presentation of the day during this, and then a short-term reversal coming back into the low, drops down one more time, retests the Wednesday first presentation, and then rallies up with a displacement and closing that fair value gap above the first presentation. This drop down here is the last buying opportunity at the first presentation before it rallies higher and presses on throughout the morning session. As we transition into the afternoon, we also get another bullish first presentation fair value gap that is accumulated on during the macro and pushes on throughout the end of the day and closes strong during the market on close. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for me today. Hopefully you learned something. If you found anything insightful, please let me know in the comments. And as always, leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all tomorrow.